So word is, you Webbs have been running this town since late 1950s, when you basically came over here and made sure the Gonzalez family had a terrible accident. Is that correct?
That's way before my time. I wasn't even thought of yet.
Huh.
I have no idea. Whatever I would know would be hearsay.
You always have believed the Webbs to be law-abiding, honest men.
Well, most of the family. There's always a few black sheep.
All right. And you were telling me that French fries are worse than soda?
Well, equally as bad for different reasons.
Right. I think sugar is the most nefarious.
Well,
But you got to get. If you sit down in these places, it's not fair not to get something. You know.
Well, yeah. Point taken, but I have bad osteoarthritis, so anything in the nightshade family will make your arthritis worse. Potatoes, stuff like that.
Wait, is this a wives' tale, or do you?
No, it's really true. A doctor told me. Mm-hmm. Anything in the nightshade family.
Tell me,
includes your potatoes that will make your arthritis worse.
How long have you had this arthritis?
Well, some of it's with age, and some of it's prior injuries. But I'm on a low salt diet anyway because I have high blood pressure.
And that's a good idea. Tell me though, what arthritis is. Can you describe it?
Well, it's just mostly an irritant, As long as you're working and moving around, your body's warmed up, and you're good. It's when you stop and rest, it catches up with you.
Is it lack of lubricant in the cartilage, or is it swelling?
It's mostly an aging wear and tear thing. I've heard lots of different stuff. I'm not a physician, but I've heard lots of different theories about what causes it. Mm-hmm. It seems like if you have any prior injuries, you have some arthritis in that joint. But as you get older, of course, you have less cartilage in your joints, and whatever the fluid is in your joints, your body doesn't produce as much, as when you were younger.
You sent me an email, a text message, a few days ago saying, "Hi, how are you? I'm here doing this and that. My allergies are acting up. I'm in severe pain. God bless, James Webb." And since I've known you, sometimes you're in terrible allergic pain, sometimes you're in arthritic pain, sometimes you're in headache pain, sometimes you're in cold or warm flash pain. You endure just a lot day to day.
Well, the doctor said, the allergies cause inflammation, but I'm finding out, this is a very cutting edge, and I guess I can explain it in layman's terms because that's only my understanding, but they recently did a blood test, which, it didn't exist before, and I have a nutritional problem. It's a birth defect, and the end result is I don't break the nutrients down to make folic acid, which you have to make nerve cells and red blood cells. So a lot of the medicines that they've given me have been ineffective, he said, for that reason, because there's nothing, there's not enough nerve cells being produced for it to work on. I have kind of like an intermediate form of it. It can be very severe or, very minimal, but I'm somewhere in the middle.
When you're in pain from allergies or arthritis or these other things, headaches, is it debilitating, or is it the kind of thing like,
Well, it can be. It's, I guess pain is, pain can be a blessing in disguise because it's your body telling you something's wrong. But usually it's just a signal that you need to slow down and take a breather. I'm 50 now. I have an AARP card to prove it. But anyway, sometimes I think in my mind that I still think I'm 30 and I'm really 50 and overdo it sometimes. But I guess that's a hazard with all men.
This should be the final question, but I just thought of it, so it's going to be for right now. You've been blessed with an inordinate amount of smarts, and you've been cursed with folic acid situation, these headaches, allergies, stuff like that. If you could trade some of your James Webb smarts for a little pain relief, would you do it?
No, I don't think so, because you can do a lot of things nowadays to mitigate the pain. I mean, over-the-counter analgesics Aleve and Tylenol are cheap. So, but you're able to help a lot of people. I don't take credit for my intelligence because I really don't have anything to do with it. That's kind of luck of the draw. But I think when you're blessed with a lot of mental ability, you kind of have to give a lot back because you can help a lot of people that way.
I would give you some credit. There's, to the degree that we have free choice at all, somewhere along the line you decided that you were going to read, study, ask questions, and you were not going to, do cocaine in the back of the building or something and run away when you saw the cops.
I would be a very poor drug dealer because I kind of live in my head, and I'm kind of an absent-minded professor kind of type. Not a professor actually, but I would probably lose a kilo and then face the repercussions. But
the thought of you as a drug dealer is so entertaining for me. I wish we could just spend the rest of the day talking about it.
Well,
I could see it going two ways. One, no one would ever suspect you of being a drug dealer. They would find like the guys around you who maybe didn't wear 3 pairs of sunglasses at a time and didn't have a big magnetic refrigerator cross on around their neck.
Well,
on the other hand, you might be a terrible drug dealer.
Well, I think I would because...
Well, let me just go. I question your street smarts.
Well, I didn't grow up in the inner city. I'm a small town person, and I'm a very poor liar.
That's what I mean.
And you have to. That really goes with the job. And
let me ask you a question. Are you a drug dealer?
No.
See, that's the worst kind of answer right there.
No. Some from my family members have got in trouble with that. Usually they had a habit to support. I don't know all of it, but when you have a habit to support, you kind of have a monkey on your back. You do things that you wouldn't normally, and plus you're impaired from the substance, whatever it may be. But
we've discussed that. I don't think that's a universal truth. Some people I've found use the illegal drugs in a favorable way. It's rare, but it happens. And in much the same way that people sometimes benefit prescription drugs.
Sometimes people have underlying health problems, and they find the street drug actually helps that. They self-medicate. Mm-hmm. And, I don't think it's my role to judge, but it does happen. But it's, I guess life is a great risk, and you never really know how a street drug is going to affect you because you really don't know what the potency is. It's so much safer to go to a physician and have a blood panel.
Except that the drugs that are available on the street are generally not available from a physician because the government has not allowed that. So,
well, yeah.
Okay, I got another one for you. And in fact, I'm glad we're doing this because this is something that fascinates about me. Fascinates you about me. Fascinates me about you, or something like that.
Yeah, one of those.
One of those.
Multiple choice questions.
I think those were both the same. But in any case, you were a very religious man.
Well, it's my upbringing.
Okay, well, let's stick with the group a sec. You were a religious man, and you are not shy about talking about it. But on the other hand, you don't seem to push it on people, proselytize, and you just have a very rare and I think beneficial combination of how you feel about religion and how you feel about telling people about it. So my question then is, if you just had to thumbnail your religious beliefs, not just vis-a-vis Jesus and the man upstairs, but about like how it guides your daily life, that kind of thing.
Well, I grew up as a Methodist because that's what my dad was and my parents were, and became an Episcopalian because I used to date a woman and I started going to church with her. I really liked it, which is many similarities, but I'm not that much in denominations, although I'm a Episcopalian. I'm not officially yet. I'm, going through the process. I just saw Vicar Jim at the library, the local rector. But anyway, we have a religious freedom in the country and religious tolerance, and you can have faith or no faith or anywhere in between, as the choice may be.
Why change from a Methodist to an Episcopalian?
I just like the liturgy so much, and I really like the Book of Common Prayer. they got a prayer for every occasion.
Okay. And would you? I'm not familiar with Christianity's social structure, but by doing that, would you upset anyone who used to be a Methodist with you? Or are you exciting?
No, because
Yeah.
we're kind of quiet. Have kind of a quiet, contemplative, meditative type faith, and we don't really. Well, of course, Jesus was our example, but it seems like in life, actions speak louder than words, and people pay more attention to what you do over what you say.
Sure.
And Jesus was a pretty kind of a revolutionary in some ways, but kind of a quiet, compassionate revolutionary kind of figure. Well, he did get upset with the money changers, but I think rightfully so.
There's a few passages. He says, "I've come with a sword." He also showed you Matthew 6:5, where he almost discourages the very creation of a church, saying that people shouldn't pray together like the hypocrites. I mean,
I think it goes to the underlying attitude, because if you pray to show off and show how pious and godly you are in kind of a self-righteous way, well, you're kind of basically saying that you're much better than others, and which isn't actually true. Us people, all have our foibles, and there's always a temptation that can be too much for us, I guess.
So what? Okay, if you were not an Episcopalian or Methodist right now, would you be going crazy and fornicating on the streets and drinking people's blood? Do you think, or would you just be?
Well,
reading
it's
more
probably
history
unlikely
books?
since I grew up in a Judeo-Christian background, but that kind of thing. But having a faith or we all kind of put our faith or stock in something, and it may not be religion, it may be science or family or our business or our job or a combination of those above, but we all kind of have to keep our human spirit and hope alive. So it's there are many ways to do that, and the human body is pretty fragile, but the human spirit is pretty indomitable.
Some people's. So I think, would both agree on the uniqueness and the magnificence of Jesus. But I think we would also agree that a close second would be our friend and mentor, David Beebe.
Yeah, he does so much for the people. I would agree with that.
Yeah, he's somewhere between Gandhi and Christ, like in that little area. But my question to you, and I have a question, is you guys share the dark sunglasses look, even indoors, and are you photosensitive?
Well, it's because the allergies, seasonal allergies bother my eyes so much. Eyes get really sensitive to the light. It's the same reason they make your ears itch. You get stuffed up, and it's just an allergy thing. And
allergies affect your eyes.
Yeah, well, they can if they're severe enough. I think I started to develop when I was working for Uncle Sam's canoe club, because I think we were around some chemicals that, when you're like in your 20s and stuff, a lot of times you pretty much still think you're invincible. You can kind of fudge on some of the safety measures, or there'll be things that they find out later about using certain solvents or whatever that they didn't know at the time. And some of it's I've noticed that I have a great sensitivity to cigarette, tobacco smoke. But that's a real trigger. But
okay, I want to go through your life very quickly, your timeline, and then talk about art. You can always ask me a question. I probably won't answer it though. But anyway,
yeah, you play pretty close to the vest.
I'm close to the vest. Okay, here's. You were born here in Marfa.
No, I was born in Fort Worth, actually, at the Methodist Hospital. And but I got here as soon as I could. I was 10 days old when I got here.
Your mother was Irish, and she died in childbirth?
Well, that's what I hear kind of secondhand. It's somebody at the hospital told me that when I was inquiring about some of my medical history, because adoptions were private when I was adopted in '63. I was born July 2nd, '63, and then I got to Marfa when I was about 10 days old or so, but maybe a little older. Well, just as the travel time. I guess my parents first saw me when I was 10 days old.
You grew up here in Marfa?
Well, I was only, not really, I was a year old when we moved to Valentine. My mom said she put me in a box to keep me out of stuff, but I went through 6th grade in Valentine. My dad was a principal there. Well, it's such a small school. Only one principal, one superintendent, and then he was superintendent.
Webb.
Yeah.
Tell me about 6th grade. What do you remember about 6th grade in Valentine? How many kids?
Well, at that time there was about 100 roughly, K through 12, and there's quite a bit fewer now.
What was your gang affiliation when you were growing up in Valentine?
In Valentine?
Yeah.
Well, you make it sound like we were skateboarding at the mall. You know, we had a couple of stores, but our big thing was to walk across the railroad tracks and get a Coke and put peanuts in it.
And what, did that somehow do something to the peanuts? Or?
Well, the sweet and salty tasted good together.
Oh, just a taste treat.
And it was considered cool. It is still considered cool in some circles.
When you came to Marfa, were you in Marfa Independent School District?
No, I never went to school here. My younger sister Krista and my brother Robert both graduated from high school here.
And what about you?
I graduated from high school in Imperial, and it's Buena Vista High School.
Why? How did that happen?
Well, that was the next to last position my dad had. My mom was a teacher there. She taught homemaking there and was the annual sponsor.
Okay. How did you do in high school?
Well, I was valedictorian in class, but that's
you were
not
what?
Valedictorian in my class, but
that's impressive, right?
Well, I was only 17 in our class, so not as impressive, really.
Yeah, but who knows who's? I mean, you could have had like Richard Feynman in your class or something for all we know.
Well, yeah. Well, it was very close between me and the salutatorian and the highest-ranking girl. It was, very little separating us.
How long between high school and the Navy, as you called Uncle Sam's Canoe Club?
Yeah. Well, I went in. Well, I went in '82, and I was supposed to get out in '86, but I had I had a really bad car accident in '85, and it prevented me from doing a lot of things that I would have liked to have done. I wasn't able to finish my active duty. I was on leave, actually, and I was in a bad car accident at that time.
You were in a car accident in Alpine. You messed up your spine. You had some.
Well, I had a head injury, and I have some arthritis because of that.
What would have been different between me talking to the James Webb of 1984 and the James Webb of 1986?
Well, I'm sure my reaction time is slower because I'm not as old. But there's a lot of things I don't remember pre-'85 because of the I had a crest skull fracture. I have scar tissue there, and I remember a little bit before the accident, but a lot of my memories pre-'85. I wouldn't necessarily quote me because there is some damage there.
Well, obviously we won't quote you. It's just an interview. Were you unconscious?
Probably briefly, but I remember feeling very tired and disoriented. I wanted to just go home and lay down, and that would have been the worst thing to do because it would have been fatal. I would have bled out in my brain.
Jeepers creepers! How long were you in the hospital?
I don't really know. They took me to Sierra Medical Center Hospital. There was a neurosurgeon there. They took me by ambulance, so they didn't have to do a life flight. The neurosurgeon said I would still be able to complete my college work. I know it affected my memory a lot more than anything else, but it's kind of hard to tell when you're the one who had the head injury because you don't see some things that other people see, Did
you end up finishing college?
No. I went on disability in 2001. I need 26 hours to finish a general studies degree. I have 136 hours.
A couple more questions, then we'll get to the art. But here, when you got into the Navy, did you think James Webb, small town bumpkin, tossed into the military to get some cash to go to school? Or did you think I'm James Webb from this... Hello? How you doing, Mr. Webb?
Yeah, I just, I was just, oh well. Well, yeah. Thank you. No,
That was very respectful. You took your hat off to say hi to Mr. Webb?
well, you only get one dad, so
Good point.
one per customer.
Uh-huh.
But I need a starter for my car, and it didn't come in yet. But anyway, I think one of the main reasons I joined the Navy, despite that it's an obvious way to earn money for school later on and other things, is my uncle J.W. was in the Navy, and he was in the Pacific.
John Wayne?
No, J.W. Faircloth was his name. He was my Aunt Amy's husband. My dad's younger sister. She lives in Abilene now, but
he recommended it to you, or you just liked his example?
Well, I grew up in the Trident Desert. I guess I've always liked the water, and I'm a pretty good swimmer. I'm not a fast swimmer, but I'm pretty comfortable in the water. I used to work at the swimming pool when I was a kid, and my dad taught me to swim at an early age. And of course, when you're in a port, like Norfolk, Virginia, it rains a lot because you're on the coast. But around here, West Texas people are pretty optimistic, and a lot of them are in ranching and agriculture of some kind. And so when it rains, everybody's in a good mood. And it rained a lot when I was in the Navy because you're in port cities, and some people are in a more sour kind of somber mood when it's raining. But I'm the opposite, I guess, because of where I grew up.
You go fishing. Where?
Well, I haven't been in a long time. I hadn't bought a license for several years, but part of it I didn't have all the tackle I needed, and part of it's for health reasons too. But
what's the health reason not to go fishing?
Well, not so much health. I misspoke. It's more of a monetary reason,
Sure.
And having time. But one of the local game wardens, the young guy, he told me that it's good fishing for crappie and bass off the spillway in Dalmaray in April when the crappie were running. That's when they spawn and stuff. So, yeah.
When was the last time you discharged a firearm?
Oh, a long time ago. Ammunition is prohibitively expensive, and you have to burn a lot of gas to go to the range. And my car's really too old to be going to Alpine very much. I'm driving my mom's old.
What do you have? What's the gun you have?
I don't have any guns. Well, I live where you can't have firearms.
Public? You can't have firearms there?
Well, I live in the Marf Housing Authority. That's government housing. I'm a heavily armed Texan. I guess I have a water gun.
What else? What medications work for you, and which medications do you not want to have in your body?
Well, some of it's trial and error, but this new supplement I'm taking is kind of a game changer. New enzyme, which is the predigested folate in the folic acid. Of course, I take my blood pressure medicine, but I take a couple of those. But I'm kind of waiting and seeing after I'm on this folate supplement, the folic acid, take that a while and kind of go from there and see what I still need.
What are the symptoms you get when you don't take that?
Well, for a long time, and I thought it was neurological, and maybe because of the accident, I had my neck would hurt all the time. My neck muscles would be tight all the time, and I would get sometimes I would get numbness in my hands and feet. I would drop things. Of course, I'm right-handed, so more likely with my right hand I'd drop. And I would be cold or hot at inappropriate times when no one else was cold or hot. and things like that I attributed to more neurological or with the accident. But there's when it's something that cutting edge and so new, and when there's not even a test for it, you kind of go with what works at the time, and of course, if you don't have the right number of nerve cells and red blood cells, a lot of things that they try to do aren't going to be effective.
Yeah.
Because you don't have the cells to work on.
We're moving to the art world. You have a big show coming up. This is your 6th art show. How many have you had previous to this?
Let's see. Over the years, probably, yeah, that's about right. 6 or 7.
Where have you had them?
Just here in Marfa.
Show me something.
Okay.
Got Planford here.
Well, they're in chronological order.
Have you ever sold a piece?
Yeah.
Do you remember giving me an art piece?
Yeah.
2010?
Yeah. I gave you. Didn't I give you a couple of prints, or just one?
Give me one.
Okay. They're kind of in chronological order. They may be upside down. No.
Have you sold one?
Oh, none of these. These are. This is a print of one that's at my dad's house. It's a frame piece that I got framed in in Alpine by Kiowa Gallery. I've got a large one that's 4 panels. It's at my dad's.
Well, I'm looking at them. You tell me how you did them. So how'd you do this one that we're talking about?
Well, I don't have a computer right now, but they're all digital art. I did them using Coral Paint number 8. That's a PC program.
And how did this all start?
Well,
do you draw?
Well, I used to draw a lot for science class, and I've always liked drawing. When you can't speak you have in some way that you don't speak the language, it's a good way to communicate. And my first actual art job that paid a whopping $5 a cartoon was with Ozona Stockman. I was their cartoonist for a while.
Huh, for how long?
Well, that was back when I was married. My wife was an elementary teacher. Her second teaching job was in what was called the Juneau Common School District. It's between Ozona, Texas, and Comstock, Texas. There used to be a school district there for the ranch kids in the area. Mm-hmm. It's close to the Devil's River, where the school was. It doesn't exist anymore. They got rid of it and consolidated with Comstock.
This looks like a happy whale.
Yeah, it's a happy sperm whale. Mm-hmm. And you have the sailing ship in the background.
What does this mean? It looks like this blue is the ocean, but then it kind of comes up to...
Well, there's a swell coming in.
I see.
I like the bold use of color, and I like all the bright, vibrant colors you can get on the computer. They're really interesting. Mm-hmm. You can make colors easily with the palette.
Name me 4 of your friends here in Marfa.
Well, it'd be David Beebe, mm-hmm. and you.
2.
And...
family doesn't count.
Family doesn't count. And my other really good friends are probably Roger Sanchez and well, it's kind of hard to say who the last one is.
Number 4 is a tough one. Let's go.
And probably my neighbor Michael Salazar. He's a really good guy.
How did it come to pass that Tim Johnson is going to do a show of your stuff?
Well, Don Culberson, the physician's assistant that works with Dr. J.P. Swartz, had recommended showing some art to him, when I had something finished, I'm a pretty slow artist. I'm going to start doing some more traditional artworks, but I had to assemble all the supplies.
So, but how did Tim Johnson hear about you and see your stuff?
Well, I just went to him. I didn't have an appointment or anything, but Marfa's pretty informal, so. Mm-hmm. And I knew he had a lot of art shows there. Mm-hmm. I usually go and look at them, when I have time.
What did he say when he showed you your stuff? Did he say, "This is amazing, we're going to make millions of dollars"? Did he say, my 5-year-old kid could do this? No,
he really liked it. He sees an awful lot of art. I don't know very much about marketing art, but he does.
I like this a lot, and I like this a lot.
Yeah.
I like this too.
Yeah.
Are these new?
Well, they have the date on them. Yeah. Of course, the 2014 stuff is all stuff from January to date.
Oh, this is cool stuff, man.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, tell me, what did Tim say? Did he just say, okay, well, did he give you any assessment? Did he give you any reaction?
Well, no, he really liked it. He was very complimentary, which makes you feel good. But
Maybe you didn't. Have you ever? Anyone ever accused you of having Asperger's? You couldn't interpret his.
oh no, no one. But I mean, he was very positive, and
I think some of these are great.
yeah, I really like the landscapes and seascapes the best.
Where'd you get the paper?
Most of it's paper that Elizabeth McBride gave me. She was a writer and artist that used to live here and then in Alpine. She's deceased now, but
How much is one of these guys going for?
well, Tim said to sell the prints for about, on good paper, good cardstock, roughly $40 a piece.
Nice.
Not that one because that's not on the good cardstock, but I have a smart TV and with a satellite TV, but I don't have my computer assembled. Well, I just now tested all the parts and had to get some more mounting screws for the board.
Will you be framing these?
Well, actually, I have 2 frame pieces already, but I'm pretty much leaving that up to whoever purchases the print. We're going to number off the prints,
Do you know what a given good is? A given good isn't. That's a term from economics. It's a good that sells better when it's priced higher. So wine, when people see a big price tag on a bottle of wine, they think it's really good.
Yeah.
I think art is a given good too. You might want to say 140 or something for these.
Well, he was saying 50 for the originals.
Mm-hmm.
I guess your artwork, if you're an artist and you really enjoy it, they're kind of like your children in a way, but these have grown up and reached maturity, so they're ready for a new home. Yeah.
So, are you a student of art?
Well, I did take a few art lessons in junior high, but mostly I'm a self-taught artist. But that's pretty an easy thing to do in Marfa because you have all these masters of fine arts people.
Right.
Now.
But are you a student of art history? Are you familiar?
Oh yeah, because that's one of the areas in concentrations and the degree I'm still working on is history. And I read a couple of books that my mom had. They're very old books, but they had a lot of art history in them. That I'm still on a learning curve on that. I'm definitely not an art historian or anything, but
2 favorite artists. Who are they? You can't name me. I can't be one of them.
Oh, okay. Probably Van Gogh and Salvador Dali.
Mm-hmm. This is kind of cool. Are you familiar with Jeff Elrod's stuff?
I know who that is, but I don't think I've ever seen any of his work.
He does stuff on a computer.
Yeah. This one here, this abstract piece with the red and then the black and white and gray, is based on some stuff my granddaughter did one time. She had crayons that she used on the wall.
You have a son?
Well, I had stepchildren from my previous marriage, and I have step grandchildren. Try saying that fast with crackers in your mouth. But anyway, I just say, kids and grandkids because it's.
Right. I understand. How long were you married?
We were married for about 10.5 years.
Jesus, holy Moses! That's a lot of years.
Yeah, I met my spouse. Her name is Christine Marie Flanagan. She had a previous marriage, but she's deceased now.
Your first wife is?
Well, my only wife.
Is now deceased?
Yeah.
As of when?
She's only been gone a couple of years.
Did she die when you were with her?
No. We split up, and she married a guy who was out on parole, and he went back to prison, and I think it kind of broke her spirit. She got morbidly obese and started smoking again, and her heart gave out on her.
Wow.
She was taking alpha blockers and stuff, but...
what do alpha blockers do? I know what beta blockers do.
Well, they're really for severe cardiac problems. So. I'm not a cardiologist, so I don't understand all the pharmacology, but...
I'm getting tired. You ask me a question or two.
How did you get to into this gig of doing interviews for the radio station?
I don't do them for the radio station mostly. I do some of them, but the majority I just do on my own.
I see. Freelancing, yeah.
Freelance. I don't consider it journalism because it's something I would do anyway.
Yeah.
So, in the same way, if a dog is digging around in the backyard and uncovers some gold, you don't call the dog a gold miner because it digs around anyway.
That's what dogs do.
That's right. That's what I do, talk. And so I just somehow in Marfa, I think what happened is podcasts were coming into existence. I was working at Padres, and I was just very interested in the cross-section of people there. And so I started talking to people there at Padres and ended up doing a little podcast on their website. And then I did some for the radio station, which I liked and made me want to continue. And I might buy this from you. Can you save that for me?
Yeah, I might have a print in another folder.
Yeah, if you got a print of that, that's what I want.
Okay.
And so that's how I do it. I have to say, it is really weird how you just fall into things in life.
Yeah.
I have no good reason for doing it.
Yeah. Well, there's two of them. There's another one.
Right. So I don't get what you're saying. Are these the originals or prints? This one's better. This one's got better paper.
That's the original. This is the print. You can tell because it's a little more faded.
Say that one for me.
Okay. But yeah, I've always kind of had the gift for gab myself, I guess. I did a lot of speaking.
I'm sorry. Well, during some of the time when I've known you, you've seemed to be quiet and depressive. Then other times I've known you, you seem to have the gift for gab.
Well, a lot of that depends on the season. I do a lot better when the sun is shining. Mm-hmm. Well, if you're in a lot of pain, that can make you quiet and depressed.
Sure, no, I'm not knocking you. I'm simply pointing out that sometimes you have the gift for quiet.
Well,
okay, James Webb. Who is the guy over there?
Oh, that's my cousin Brandon.
That's Brandon Webb?
Brandon Lewis.
Hey, Brandon.
Yeah, he's a really smart guy. He's a computer science major at St. Ross.
Brandon, are you really smart? Okay, come here a sec. Can we ask you a question?
Yeah, he's. Let me put these up.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put this one in the back so it stays separate.
How are you related to James Webb here? On this side. We need you on this side.
We're great. He's Dad's my great uncle.
He's your great uncle. So he's your grandfather's brother?
No.
Yeah, computer
his
science,
father.
maybe? Okay, let's do this again. So his dad, he's your uncle.
No, I'm his cousin.
Cousin. Yeah.
Cousin. Okay. How long you known James Webb? We're interviewing him. Oh, watch yourself there, man. Okay.
Yeah, it's just basic.
A good while.
Okay, we're getting ready for his art show. Have you ever seen his art?
No.
Are you a programmer, computer science guy?
Game design.
Oh, game design. How do you design games then?
I just do the 3D modeling.
Cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah,
You'll always be able to find a job in that.
What's your application then? What do you do your modeling on?
Blender 3D. It's a free animation and game design program.
Blender 3D. And you go to St. Ross. Do you live in Marfa?
Yeah.
Well, I hope to see you at a handshake, please. I hope to see you at the James Webb art exhibit at the Marfa Book Company sometime in the next 3 weeks, right, James?
Yeah, he said probably about a month. Yeah, 4 weeks. Because Martha Hughes is there. I haven't seen her show yet, but I'd like to go look at it sometime. But my car's in the shop right now, so I'm waiting for that.
Well, I hope Brandon shows up. You have to. It's family, right?
Yeah, it's free food.
Free food, free beer. Are you a beer drinker? Are you over 21?
I am, but I don't drink.
Okay, you're smart with that.
That's wise. You'll save a lot of money.